In today's video, the absolute madness that is Thailand headlines, pet lions have become a serious issue. Yes, you heard that correctly. Another guy gets caught smuggling at the airport, but it is absolutely not what you think. Wiener talismans for protection and some very important updates about Thailand and Cambodia's border conflict. So buckle up, grab a snack because Thailand news is at it again. How's it going? I hope you're doing well. Welcome back to the channel, and we've got some doozies of some stories for you today. Some serious stuff and some not so serious stuff. Make sure you stick it out or else I will find you.
I don't believe you.
Rolling right into things, our first story today comes from the Bangkok Post. This is another one of those ones I had to read a few times. I had to cross-reference some of these numbers just to make sure we were getting the full picture, and it is absolutely a thing. Absolute madness. Thailand's pet lion problem. Behind a car repair business on a nondescript Thai street are the cherished pets of a rising TikTok animal influencer. 2 lions and a 200-kilogram lion-tiger hybrid called Big George. For all my American people out there, I know kilograms are not in freedom units, so just think about it this way: a kilogram is 2.2 pounds. Lion ownership is legal in Thailand, and Thanuwat Pleg Kemrach is an enthusiastic advocate, posting updates on his feline companions to nearly 3 million followers. They're playful and affectionate, just like dogs or cats. I don't know about that one. From the inside of their cage complex at his home in the northern city of Chiang Mai, Thailand's captive lion population has exploded in recent years, with nearly 500 registered in zoos, breeding farms, petting cafes, and homes. Experts warn the trend endangers animals and humans, you think? Stretches authorities and likely fuels illicit trade domestically and abroad. It's absolute madness, said Tom Taylor, Chief Operating Officer of the conservation group Wildlife Friends Foundation Thailand. It's terrifying to imagine, if the laws aren't changed, what the situation is going to be in 10 years. Guys, when are we going to learn? How many stories or videos have you seen over the year of, oh, so-and-so lion was in captivity and it's been a pet for this, amount of time, and it's been friendly, it's been around humans its whole life, and then one day it just flips out and eats somebody. I've heard people say this before, and I feel like the comparison is always to dogs. Oh, well, if you raise them from when they're little and you take care of them, they're just like dogs.
Right.
1, dogs have been domesticated, and 2, even when you consider dogs wolves, even though they are far removed from that by now, they are generally not the apex predators where they are. A big cat, no matter where they are in the world, is an apex predator. It's a different mentality. It's like the same people that keep crocodiles or alligators and they're like, oh yeah, they can get friendly. It's an apex predator is a completely different ballgame. But I want to hear from you. If you could have a pet lion, no repercussions, and all the right circumstances, raise it from a baby, whatever, would you? Let me know down in the comments. Now, cruising right along to our next WTF wildlife story, also coming to us from the Bangkok Post. Japanese man caught smuggling live wildlife at Suvarnabhumi Airport. Now, I understand some people might not really grasp why you would do this, but when it comes to exotic pets, things that are where there's a controlled trade, or you're trying to take them to somewhere where that animal is not native, there could be a lot of money in it. I actually read another story not too long ago, maybe a month ago, about another guy who got caught at the airport. But unlike this guy who did have some more rare stuff, the last guy who got caught at the airport, he had like 24 ball pythons, I think, and they were like hidden in his underwear. Now, if you don't know anything about ball pythons, it's a snake, obviously, but they are one of, if not the most common pet snakes everywhere in the world. They're super easy to breed. They're very beginner friendly. So that one I really didn't understand. But when it comes to this guy, it's a little bit different. A 53-year-old Japanese man has been arrested at Suvarnabhumi Airport after attempting to smuggle live wildlife in his luggage on a flight to Osaka. The suspect, identified as Mr. Mikiyaki, was a passenger on Peach Aviation flight bound for Kansai International Airport. Authorities became suspicious after X-ray scans revealed images resembling live animals inside his suitcase. Mr. Kamrit Prinsai, chief of the Suvarnabhumi Airport Wildlife Checkpoint, revealed on Sunday. A search of the baggage uncovered 2 Indian star tortoises, 2 blue-spotted tree monitors, and 21 water turtles concealed in snack boxes.
Wait, what?
Officials confirmed that the suspect had no documentation or permits for the export of live animals. The arrest took place near Departure Gate F1 on Friday. Mr. Mikiaki was charged with violating multiple Thai laws, including the Wildlife Preservation and Protection Act, the Customs Act, the Animal Epidemics Act, and the Fisheries Act. The confiscated animals have been transferred to the Wildlife Conservation Office and the airport's Fishery Inspection Office for care, identification, and evidence for legal proceedings. People continue to get busted trying to smuggle things out of the airport, and I just really don't understand the thought process behind it. Because I guess if you were, checking a bag, then there might be reason to think that it's not going to get scanned. But these people keep trying to take illicit stuff, and they're doing it in their carry-on bag. And obviously you know how the airport works because you flew here, but for some reason these people seem to think that their carry-on is not going to get scanned. Or maybe they don't understand that it's an X-ray machine. If you've ever watched that border protection show on, I think it's Discovery Channel, I think most of it is done in Australia, and you will have noticed that a lot of the time Asian people are coming into Australia. They're trying to always smuggle in a bunch of weird food and snacks and stuff, but live animals is absolutely stepping it up a bit.
He was a retard.
What?
He was a retard.
Now, rolling into our next story, it's going to carry a bit more of a serious tone because it is a very serious situation. If you've been keeping up with the news over the past couple weeks, you'll know that the border conflict between Cambodia and Thailand had escalated quite a bit. But now, luckily, it seems like we're getting some good news, minus one aspect. So we'll cruise over to that right now and see what we know exactly. Now, this article coming to us from Bangkok Post was actually posted on July 28th, which was 2 days ago at the time of recording this. So things have changed a little bit in those past 2 days, but we'll go over that as well. Thailand and Cambodia agreed to truce after 5 days of fighting. Thailand and Cambodia's leaders agreed to an unconditional ceasefire on Monday after 5 days of combat along their jungle-clad frontier that has killed at least 36 people. Nearly 300,000 people have fled as the two sides fired artillery, rockets, and guns in a battle over the long-disputed area, which is home to a smattering of ancient temples. The flare-up was the deadliest since violence raged sporadically from 2008 to 2011 over the territory, claimed by both sides because of vague demarcation made by Cambodia's French colonial administrators in 1907. Reading a joint statement from the leaders of both countries after peace talks, Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim said that they had agreed to an immediate and unconditional ceasefire with effect from midnight on Monday. Today is Wednesday. This is a vital step towards de-escalation and the restoration of peace and security, he said at a press conference in Malaysia's administrative capital, flanked by the acting Thai Prime Minister and Cambodia's Prime Minister Hun Manet. Mr. Anwar said at a meeting of military commanders from both sides would take place on Tuesday morning before the country's cross-border committee. As the deal was being announced, an AFP journalist in the Cambodian city of Samraong, 17 kilometers from the frontier, reported hearing continuing artillery blast. But locals expressed relief that a truce had been struck. I'm very happy with the ceasefire. This will let people go back home and children go back to school. A 48-year-old Cambodian vendor, Sayung Shivling, told AFP, please stop the clashes. Now, like we said, that was 2 days ago, and just to give you guys a little bit of a better timeline, they had made that agreement during the day on the 28th, and the kind of standing plan was that it was going to go into effect at midnight that night from the 28th going into the 29th. Now, this next story coming to us from The Nation was posted today on July 30th, but I believe the timeline that they're referencing in this article was more yesterday. Thai army vows decisive response if Cambodia continues ceasefire violations. The Royal Thai Army issued a statement on Wednesday condemning Cambodia's repeated violations of the ceasefire agreement and warned that Thailand will respond decisively and appropriately should the attacks persist. As the governments of the Kingdom of Thailand and the Kingdom of Cambodia jointly agreed to declare a ceasefire to end military clashes along the border areas, with the agreement taking effect from 2400 hours on July 18, 2025. The Royal Thai Army affirms that we have strictly adhered to the agreement throughout, having suspended all forms of force deployment and reduced military activities in the area to create opportunities for an atmosphere of peace, mutual trust, and constructive cooperation between both nations. However, the Royal Thai Army has received reports from military military units in that area that on July 30th, 2025, the Cambodian armed forces violated the ceasefire agreement once again, with details as follows. From what I understand, some other stories and reports that came out yesterday on the 29th, the day after the ceasefire was agreed upon, Cambodia actually went ahead and fired some more shells into Thailand. So moving into today, the 30th, now there's even more reports coming out. Chong, Konma area, Sisaket province at 21:30 hours on July 29, 2025, the Cambodian armed forces fired small arms at Thai force positions, resulting in clashes that continued until 2200 hours. Priya Vihir Temple, Pu Mukua, and Hua Thai Maria vicinity, Sisaket province from 2200 hours on July 29, 2025, the Cambodian armed forces have continuously fired small arms while simultaneously employing supporting weapons, including mortars. The Thai side was therefore compelled to exercise its rights under international principles in self-defensive retaliation. Firing from the Cambodian side continued intermittently until the morning of July 30th, 2025. The actions of the Cambodian armed forces on this occasion constitutes a serious violation of the ceasefire agreement, marking the second instance since the agreement took effect, and reflect behavior that shows disrespect for international obligations while undermining efforts to resolve the situation through peaceful means. Furthermore, these actions adversely affect the stability and trust that should exist between the two nations. Now, I'm sure I don't have to tell you that agreeing to a ceasefire only to continue firing after that is definitely not cool. Like the article referenced, at that point, it makes it hard to build any trust. Why are we going to make agreements if things just are going to continue the way that they are? And, you know, I understand the fog of war, things can be confusing, communication can break down. So if it was one instance, maybe close to that agreed upon time, but at this point, it's continued over multiple days. Now, of course, in this situation, just like with any other conflict between nations, there's a whole lot of finger pointing going on. So if you're looking around for viable information as to what's actually happening, I strongly suggest cross-referencing everything that you're reading, because of course, if you can read the same story from multiple different places, you can start to see the narrative that is kind of being built, and false information is very prevalent, which is one thing we'll go over briefly in this next story. Also coming to us from the nation, Hun Manet's wife shares false image accusing Thailand of poison gas use. From what I understand, Hun Manet is the prime minister for Cambodia, so this is something his wife apparently shared on Facebook.
You know what I think the problem is? Facebook.
As you can see this image here, anybody who's from America, especially if you're like me and you're from the West Coast, you know exactly what this is initially when you look at it. But unfortunately, in this part of the world, these firefighting airplanes aren't necessarily as common. In my mind, this is a bit ridiculous, but I absolutely did see this shared multiple times on Facebook. Pitch Chanmoni, wife of Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Manet, has come under fire after sharing a misleading image on Facebook suggesting that Thailand used poison gas in cross-border operations. The image, originally from a U.S. wildfire suppression mission in California, was falsely cited as evidence of chemical warfare. The photo appeared to have been sourced via Google search. This accusation echoed earlier remarks by Lieutenant General Malay Socheta of Cambodia's Ministry of National Defense, who alleged that the Thai military had used chemical weapons against Cambodian territory. The Royal Thai Air Force responded swiftly, posting a clarification on its Facebook page, describing the claim as baseless and entirely false, and labeling it fake news circulating in a Cambodian social media. Now, the only reason I wanted to touch on this is because in one sense, you know, if somebody's just negligent and they've never seen something like that before, they've never seen a firefighting airplane before, just a normal person on Facebook, all right, the amount of stuff I see people fall for when it comes to like AI generated stuff is all over the place. So I could kind of understand that, but this is the Prime Minister of Cambodia's wife that was sharing this. But for her, I feel like this would be a very easy thing to fact check. So in my opinion, it definitely seems somewhat deliberate. And I think these things are important to talk about because once you see some blatant attempts at misinformation, it can really hammer home that you need to double and triple check everything that you're reading. And now for my favorite story of the day, a little bit lighter, coming to us from the Tiger. Buriram residents use penis amulets to fend off alleged black magic from Cambodia. Locals seek protection through spiritual means by placing penis-shaped amulets placed atop bomb shelters. Residents living near the Chong Sai Taku border checkpoint in the Isan province of Buriram placed penis-shaped amulets On top of bomb shelters believing the sacred objects can weaken black magic allegedly sent from Cambodia. The Han Kansai news program reported yesterday, July 24th, that at least 20 explosive devices were dropped in the Ban Kruat district of Buriram. In response, many residents sought refuge in shelters or the evacuated area. Nearly all businesses were closed for the safety of staff, operators, and customers. That's good. Known as Palad Kik in Thai, on the roofs of shelters in Chan Thap Phet sub-district as a way to support Thai military forces and repel potential curses. One resident told reporters that the amulets were originally prepared for the annual Isan Rocket Festival, which has since been canceled. Locals believe the amulets can ward off evil spirits and protect them from black magic, possibly cast by external forces. Now, I'll be honest, when I was first reading this, I kind of thought it was just a funny. I didn't really understand the significance of this until I went and read up on it a bit. Thank you to Wikipedia. And this is a real thing. It's based in spirituality. It's not just like a haha funny thing. And it makes sense because if you've ever spent any time in Thailand, you know all those like little trinket kind of touristy shops. There's all kinds of wieners, man, whether it be bars of soap or ashtrays. So I'm glad I looked it up. Now I understand it a little bit more. And now I know if I ever need it, I can cast the phallic protection spell. If you made it this far and you enjoyed the video, you know what to do. Head down below, show the algorithm that I'm worthy so I can, buy groceries next month. And of course, don't forget, if you want access to some more exclusive Thailand content, some nightlife guides, comparisons between different areas, all that type of stuff, go ahead, cruise on over to the Patreon. You can sign up for as little as $5 a month. And as always, I hope you guys have a great day. We'll see you in the next one. Don't let the door hit you, or the good Lord split you, huh?